Have you ever wondered why it's so much easier to be kind to others than it is to yourself? In today's mini episode, we're diving into the power of self compassion and affirmations in your postpartum journey. Can simply changing the way you talk to yourself really make a difference in how you experience motherhood? Stay tuned to find out and to learn some exciting new resources we have for you. Also, stay tuned to learn how you can get 20% off our new course. Let's get started. The Golden Hour Birth Podcast, a podcast about real birth stories and creating connections through our shared experiences.
Childbirth isn't just about the child. It's about the person who gave birth, their lives, their wisdom, and their empowerment.
We're Liz
and Natalie,
the Golden Hour Birth Podcast, and we're here to laugh with you,
cry with you,
and hold space for you. Welcome to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. I am your co-host, Liz.
And I'm your co-host, Natalie, and tonight we're just doing a fun little mini episode on affirmations and
self-compassion. Yeah, self-compassion.
Yes. Liz, I know that you had some good insight on this, so I'd love to just kind of hear from you.
Yeah. So before we start, I do want to just talk a little bit about our course that we did put out. It is launched, so you can go on our website, reclaim.goldenhourbirthpodcast.com to check that out. It is 6 modules plus a bonus module on what is birth trauma, basically. So that's kind of a question that has been coming up a lot. Which is like, how do I even know that I had birth trauma? And I know that when I experienced my own birth trauma, I didn't even realize it until like years later that the way I was feeling was kind of a direct relation to that. So that first module, that introductory module that kind of talks about birth trauma, and like what it is and how to recognize it and things like that, we have for free on our website. So you can go and get a sneak peek of our course in that module. So yeah, I'll link that in the show notes, and if you wanted to check that out and see that before, diving into the course. So yeah, so self-compassion is a big component in our course, which self-compassion is basically self-kindness and kind of how you like thinking of how you would treat other people and talk to other people if they came to you and said, oh, I had this like experience or whatnot. If it was a good friend, like what would you say to them? Turning that around and, saying that about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just kind of having that mindfulness of the thoughts going through your head, and really paying attention to what those thoughts mean, where they're coming from, what you can do to kind of reframe those thoughts into more kind words to yourself. Especially when you're having a bad day, you're just like, oh, I'm just such a bad mom or whatnot. Just, talking a little bit kinder to yourself. And yeah.
I know when I was like going through a hard time, like probably postpartum with Violet, I was always just like allowing myself to like have bad days, have my feelings, talk it through with my therapist, because I knew that like there was something going on with her. 1, 2, I was getting no sleep, so I'm already delirious. It was just like, and like the more I thought about it, it was just like the more I struggled. And so I was just like having to remind myself, like, I am in a hard season and that's okay. Things like that. And like you're right, like how I talk to my friends, is 1,000 times better how I talk to myself. And it's kind of like funny. Like, I'm like, give yourself grace. But then I'm over here like, God damn it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I know we've talked about this before where we'll see pictures of ourselves and just be like, "Oh my God, I look so terrible in these pictures." And then I
Yeah.
look at the picture of you and I'm like, "Oh my God, she looks gorgeous. Like she looks so happy and she's glowing." And then you're like that same picture, you're thinking like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." Like,
We were
well,
both like our photo shoot, we were both so quick to judge ourselves, but then be like, you look amazing
yeah.
now.
Yeah, like why are we so mean to ourselves?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And like, I don't know if it's like the way we grew up, how we were raised, whatever, whatever, but it's really hard to break that no that narrative. But like just during this time of like an absolute 360 with birth and delivery, it's just like this is the time to just like allow yourself to like feel all the feelings, grace, give yourself grace always. Like, no
Mhm.
one gave you a manual on how to raise a child.
No, not at all. Like I still feel like how am I the adult in all these situations?
I know. Oh my gosh, yes. They're like sometimes like I talk to people on my job and they're like 23 and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 23, right?" Like, duh. That's where I am.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a teen mom, so I don't know how many times a day I say that to myself. But yeah, it's all like you talked about with your feelings, like letting yourself feel those. So validating your feelings
Hmm.
is like huge with self-compassion too, because um when you're feeling sad or irritated or angry or whatnot, it's so easy just to say like this whole day is just shit now. Like
Yeah.
I'm upset, like I'm just not even gonna pull myself out of it or anything. And when you think like I am feeling this way because I had a hard day, or my kid's giving me a hard time, or potty training's not going the greatest, or whatever it is, whatever the
Hmm.
situation is, letting yourself feel that, and just validating your feelings. I know recognizing and validating feelings is really difficult for our generation. Especially I feel like we were kind of taught to, um, when
Bottle
you're
up those
sad,
emotions.
flip that, and you have to be happy, even if you're not.
Yeah.
Like we are so bad at sitting uncomfortably in our negative feelings.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just taking that second to recognize, like, you know what, I do feel sad right now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell my kids that all the time too. Like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry.
Yeah. Yeah. Wes kind of starts to like notice like when I'm mad now or sad and he's like, Mommy's mad.
Mhm.
Mommy's sad. And I'm like, yes, buddy, but it has nothing to do with you. Like, this is on mommy. Mommy is feeling something right now. But I also think like we're in a hard day of age of the internet and social media.
Oh yeah.
And so like when you see like these moms get ready with me on a day of postpartum, day number 5, and they're like putting on makeup and getting their hair done and going out. And it's just like these are setting up unrealistic expectations for what it is. I was still in diapers on day 5. I was not putting on any makeup. And I just think I was okay with that. I was okay with where I was. And I think that that's also like a big thing of like, these are not realistic expectations, nor
Mhm.
should they be.
No. And if you're like that, if you feel it, you want to do that, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want me to film it, I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
But not every person feels like that. And a lot of people don't have the support to be
Yeah.
doing. either. Especially when you go through, if you did have a difficult birth, like you are not in that mindset of like, I'm gonna set up my camera, then go lay back down and act like I'm waking up out of bed.
Waking up.
Like, what? I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with Vivian, I could have like wrapped my brain around that, but with Arthur, I was just like in survival mode, like
Mm-hmm.
completely. Yeah. And thankfully, I had like my mom coming and being like, you're doing a great job.
Uh-huh.
Or, you coming over and just being like, oh my God, you're such a good mom. Like, I don't know. It's just these things that like, that's why we need this community and connection with other people who can help us get our internal monologue back on track.
Mm-hmm. Um, Affirmations is a big one. Like, especially if words of affirmations is your love language. Um, I know for me, like I had kind of like a little five affirmations like in my head a lot when I was going into birth. Um, Obviously when you're in birth, there's things that just fly out of your head. So like, did I really think of them? No. But just
That's
kind
why
of
you
like,
need a doula.
yes, literally. Yes. I mean, like just like my one I always remembered, I am opening up like a flower. It's like the midwife said it to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna take it with me. And I just like remember that one. But like honestly, like, putting out those like positive affirmations, making your brain believe them, like I think that is like such a great tool to have. Um, like I know that like I think like hypnobirthing does that a little bit. Like there's probably some YouTube videos out there, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually looking up some like what is the science? Like why do affirmations work? Because you hear about it and it is a big part, like you said, of hypnobirthing and birthing naturally and things like that. And um it's a big thing in therapy and with our kids and everything. And I thought it was really interesting because it said that one of the reasons why it works is neuroplasticity, and regularly repeating affirmations can create new neural pathways in the brain, reinforcing positive thought patterns over time, which I thought was
Mhm.
really cool. Like we can actually
Fabulous.
rewire our brain
Yeah.
and like open those pathways to like, I am a good mom, you know?
Yeah.
And then another reason that they work was cognitive restructuring, which is actually something that we talk about in the course, which is kind of reframing your thoughts. And but it says the affirmation helps challenge and change negative thought patterns, replacing them with more positive, supportive beliefs. And I know that that's a big thing for me, is restructuring my thought patterns. And that helps a lot for me personally. It helps with the intrusive thoughts and things like that too. Like when an intrusive thought like enters my mind, and um, one of my like affirmations when that happens is what's the worst that could happen?
Hmm.
And so like I kind of repeat that and then go through that thought process. So like now I don't have to go step by step through the thought process. It's a lot more quick now, but getting into the psychology of it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw This Is Us, but Randall and Beth would do that, like worst case scenario game. And I just loved it because like they would get so far fetched, but then like nothing like that would happen. And it kind of like it does. It's like, what is the worst that could happen?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't know,
Then
just
what are
kind
the
of
chances of that happening?
yeah.
And then what's the best thing that could happen?
Mm-hmm. I'm up for that best thing.
Yeah. There was a lot. There were some other um reasons that it works too, just parts of our brain. One of the things it says reticular activating system, which I've never even heard of. Affirmations can prime the RAS, a part of the brain that filters information to focus more on positive experiences that confirm the affirmation.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, all really good insight. And I feel like we do a really good job at explaining this in the course and like going over that. And um, so, you know, if you're kind of leaning one way or the other, you know where you can get some more good info on this.
Yeah, for sure. And we have in the course a whole set of affirmations that you can download.
Mm-hmm.
They're on pretty cards that you can print and put around your house or put it in a little book or just have as your wallpaper, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Even like a little bookkeeper for your journal.
yeah, which we also are offering right now a free 4-week guided journal also on our website. I'll link that as well. We have a lot of goodies coming up.
Yeah, thanks for letting us chat about positive affirmations and self-compassion. And we hope that you can just wrap yourself in a big hug and give yourself those positive words.
Yes. And if you are interested in the course, go ahead and check out the link in the show notes. We're also offering 20% off right now of the course with the code Healing Journey. So if you have any questions about the course, just let us know. We are here to help. So we'll see you next episode.
See you next episode.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion and found it insightful and beneficial. Remember, the Golden Hour Birth Podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you. If you appreciate the content we bring you each week, consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform or sharing the show with your friends and family. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating valuable episodes. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us on our website, www.goldenhourbirthpodcast, or connect with us on social media. We value your feedback and want to make sure that we're delivering the content you want to hear. Before we sign off, we'd like to express our gratitude to our incredible guests who joined us today. We are honored that they trust us enough to be so open and vulnerable. We're grateful for their time and willingness to share their stories with us. If you're interested in taking the conversation further with us, join us on our Facebook group, The Golden Hour Birth Circle. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode, so be sure to tune in. Until then, stay golden and remember to take care of yourself. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. Bye!